Today, I'm going to be talking about a way that I've been able to acquire most of the skills I've learned throughout my life for free. And this isn't some sort of secret website or secret method. This is going to be something that has historically been with us and our society since the beginning. It's called bartering. So you'll be able to build a lot of skills and not spend all your money all the time. Now, being skillful at a lot of different things is gonna feel pretty useless right at the beginning. When you're young, when you're first starting something, and you have all these skills and all your friends are much more successful than you are, or not all of them, but some of your friends are much more successful than you are, but you're so much smarter, you're so much more hardworking, you're so much more determined, you're gonna feel like, man, am I even doing the right thing? Is this really the right option for me? And at first, you're gonna question yourself. You're gonna doubt yourself at every turn. You're never gonna think, you know what, I am making the right choice. You'll never be confident in that decision. And that's normal. That's also super okay. But giving you kind of a background on why this is important, especially the earlier you start it, being rich is easy. You just need one skill, and you need to do one skill for a long time and get good enough at it to be rich. And being successful, you need many skills. So what is the difference between rich and successful? Rich means you have made a lot of money. Successful means you make a lot of money anywhere you want to go. Anything you want to do, anything you can conceive or dream of, you're going to win in. Now, I know which one I'd rather choose. I know, though, which one is the harder choice right at the beginning. And let me tell you, not winning right away, it feels pretty awful. It feels like you are a failure and you were never designed to win. You were never designed to succeed. That's what it feels like. And that is the reality of your life. And that's going to be the reality of your life for a while. But if you learn bartering, eventually, you're going to have so many skills, you're going to be like, man, I've seen this problem 4 or 5 different times in 4 or 5 different businesses, and you'll solve it. But the first time you see a problem, you're going to be overwhelmed and you're going to feel so lost, and just honestly, you're going to feel disappointed in yourself. Let me teach you how to barter successfully. And the history of bartering, usually you're an apprentice. You want to be a blacksmith, but there's no college in your town or whatever. You want to be a blacksmith. Where are you going to go? Who are you going to talk to? Are you going to go talk to the English professor? No. You're going to go talk to the blacksmith who's been in your town since you were 1 year old. So if you're going to go talk to that guy, what do you need to do for him to teach you something? You need to offer something of value in exchange. And if you don't have any money, you likely are pretty low in the skill department as well. And there's nothing wrong with that per se. And you don't necessarily need to be the most skilled individual to successfully barter. For example, when I was teaching basketball, I wanted to get better at basketball as well, and I wanted to train under a specific coach. But I didn't have the money to hire him, and I was like, how can I be of use to this person so I can learn? And I volunteered my time. I was at his camps, I helped him as an assistant, I helped him design plays, I helped him do things, and I would learn things, and he would teach me one-on-one as well. I would be able to get better over time with that value exchange. Now, I'm not indebted to him. I don't owe him anything, because I'm exchanging my time and energy, and he's exchanging his wisdom. For me at the time, that was a good exchange. And for someone with no money, that's always going to be a great exchange. So, first, you want to find someone with a skill, and with a skill that you want to acquire. You're not trying to find just some random skill or some person who's randomly rich. You need to find someone who has something you want. As greedy and as horrible as that sounds, it's what you need to do. You need to find someone with a skill you want to acquire. Now, once you find that person, the internet's a vast place. The internet's also very big. Once you find that person, then you're going to do something very, very simple. You're going to find out what they want. They're not going to tell you what they want, but they will insinuate it. Through sales, you find out how to figure out what people want without them having to directly disclose that to you. Because If you didn't know, when someone's trying to sell you something, they don't want to buy it. You got to sell it. So find out what they want. Easiest way to do this, ask open-ended questions. Be curious about them. Be genuine. You want to know more about this person. You want to learn what they've learned. You want to gain value out of this person. Be genuine. Ask them questions. Compliment them. People love that. Don't be disingenuous. Don't just kiss their ass. Don't flatter them constantly. But if they are a person you admire with a skill that you admire, be genuine. Be real. Say that, you know? There's no shame in that. Now, you just need to ask some open-ended questions to find out what they want. Sometimes people who you suspect have everything, in fact, are missing a lot of things, but they won't tell you that. You got to figure out what they're missing. So for example, when I was learning real estate, I met someone who knew more about real estate than I did. And what she really wanted was to be able to get more leads off of social media. And would you look at that? I had a skill that pertained to that exact metric. I am pretty good at social media. That's what I do for a job. So that was what my value exchange was. That's what it was all about. You help me in real estate. I help grow your social media. Simple as that. I don't owe her anything. She doesn't owe me anything. But there was clearly a value exchange. I didn't need to show her a portfolio of my work because I already did something very small that she could see and it tangibly helped her. And she didn't need to show me her body of work because you can just Google her. And she made a lot of money. She has a lot of transactions. It's as simple as that sometimes. It doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need some sort of sales pitch. You don't need to be super fancy. But you do need to offer something in exchange. Now, what if you don't have that skill to exchange? What if you haven't learned anything that important? Now let me tell you a secret. You don't actually need to be great at that skill. You just need to have a basic understanding of it. And also you need to learn, can you acquire that skill? More importantly, can you acquire that skill in a short amount of time? Like I said, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be great. You don't need to be excellent. You don't need to be a defining figure in a certain field to understand it and learn it pretty quickly. Give yourself a week to learn it. You don't have to lie to someone and say, oh yeah, I'm an expert, and you're not. Just say, I have some experience with it, even if you have little experience with it, and get better at it over the next week. Focus on it. If this is really what you want, you're going to put in some work. This is how you do it. Find out what you need to know. Find out who you need to know. Find out what you need to learn. And then learn that shit. Learn it. Be about it. Learn it. Commit. Fairly simple. Now, next you're going to propose the value exchange. This is the part where some people might feel is a bit disingenuous. Some people might feel it's a bit exploitative. But you just need to know how to present it so it seems like a fair offer. Even if it's not fair, even if it's greatly outsized. I'm sure a person who wants to acquire a skill that you supposedly have is going to be open to giving the wisdom they already learned to you for not an expensive price. Because you have something they already want. So you don't need to impress them or wow them. You just need to offer that. And that's it. Now, offering it in a specific way is an important piece of this. You can't just walk up to someone and say, hey, you're a great basketball player. I want to be great like you. I can be your assistant. They're going to say, no, thanks. I have plenty of assistants. So ask them open-ended questions. Be interested in them. Be an interesting person. You can do that. You can seriously get a lot of skills in a very short amount of time. But genuinely, you need to be interested in the person, and you need to be interested in the topic you want to learn, because you got to take it serious. The last thing is going to be a little bit of a trickier part, and that's outlining clear outcomes. Now, you're not a saint. You're not doing this for free. You're not doing God's work, you know? You are offering a very, very clear exchange of value. You're saying, I want to acquire this skill. You want to acquire this skill or acquire this knowledge. If we can do this, this is what I want to get out of this. This is what you're going to get out of this. Outline this very clearly. The way I did it is I'm going to show you, for example, I'm going to give you my real estate for an example. I genuinely had experience in real estate, and I did have a business, and I still do run that business. But the way you outline this extremely clearly is very simple. I want a skill, you have a skill. Let's trade some skills. And let's talk about it. What do you want to get? What I wanted to get was I wanted to learn how to do transactions, and I wanted to learn how to find leads. What did she want? She wanted to get leads from social media. I'm like, okay, I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you how to run ads, and we'll do this together. Those are our clear objectives. That's how we're going to carry ourselves. Now, the amount of effort they put in and you put in should be relatively equal. If you feel like they're not giving you anything and you're putting in a lot, find somebody else. There's someone else who's going to appreciate a person like you with the cognitive reasoning skills to set up this value exchange. Your time is not worth nothing. Your time is worth something. Make sure your time is valued, your energy is valued. That's pretty much it. That's how I've been able to learn a lot of skills in a pretty short amount of time as I've been out of school. And you don't need to spend a buttload of money. Don't buy a course. Find someone who has the information you want. Help them market the course. It's that simple. You don't got to be a genius to figure this out. Bartering has been a part of our system and society for as long as I could remember, for as long as anyone could remember anything, for as long as writing has been invented. Use this skill, use this trait, and more people are open to value exchanges than you think. If you like what you saw, subscribe, and yeah, thanks.